Welcome back here to Interlagos on part 2 of this 42-hour race, and as we start part 2 we've got our second place driver Brady into the pits with almost no fuel, just 1 litre of fuel left in that Lexus tank. So that will be refilled up for the remaining 19 laps of this race. He'll drop behind Mako, but Mako will have to pit again. Drop behind Alex, also having to pit again. He's side by side with Samios. They're going to turn 1, and that's a great move by Samios as he goes into 3rd place as it is on track. Still got lots of laps to go in this remaining 3rd of this race, and Charlie's now closed up to them on his fresh soft tyres. And then we can actually just see Brady is leaving the pit lane now. There's Brady rejoining ahead of Ulanga, so that's pretty good for Brady. He's in clean air. He's on medium tyres, so he'll go to the end on those, doing a one-stop race. And there's a few second gap. We saw there Charlie Fraser going around the outside, I think, of Alex on the fresh tyres. Alex not really bothering to fight him too much, as Alex is currently going over 2 seconds a lap slower on very worn tyres compared to the fresh tyres of Charlie. He's doing 25s, which is very good pace, but he has to do a free-stop strategy and add a lot of fuel later on today. So Charlie really trying to go full ham here today on free stop strategy. Won't be using the mediums for too long, although the amount of fuel that he put in the car earlier, or should I say the team put in the car earlier, might affect his race a little bit. Brady's had a pretty poor outlap actually, because Ulanga on fairly good softs is closing up. So maybe Ulanga's pushing for the fastest lap of the race, we'll see later on. But the attention will go to Charlie and Sammy fighting for the podium places currently. And if I just check the fuel, Samios has less fuel in the tank now, more, heavily worn tyres. So Sammy will pit soon, and also will spend more time during the pit stop refueling, so we'll probably drop behind Charlie, Ulanga and Alex Sinclair, although Alex Sinclair also has to refuel heavily, so might be tight with Alex. As they just get around the lap car of Pixtacker and Charlie going on the inside, no, but now going up the hill would be a great place to pass here. We've got American versus British driver. And just further back, we got Ulanga on the inside of Brother Vega going up the hill. Alex Sinclair dropped down to 7th. So while Sammy and Charlie were pretty close, we have Ulanga going on the inside of Bradders, which didn't really work out, but at the same time Alex then runs wide, and then going up the hill, Ulanga just has more power. Maybe because Brothers V saving some fuel. So they all swap positions. Brothers V stays in 6th, Alex and Ulanga are the ones who swap. Charlie getting a better run through turn 3 and might go around the outside for turn 4. We haven't seen many moves around the outside, but with that fresher compound, might be able to sweep around the outside. Yeah, great move from Charlie Fraser. As you can just see that pink Italian Pride themed car move into the podium spots. Further back, Ulanga is trying to make the most of his soft tyres. Bradesvi will try to make his mediums last while still setting good lap times and saving a bit of fuel. He didn't fill the car up all the way to 100% in his pit stop, he only filled it up to about 90. Although doing so did mean he actually was ahead of Ulanga when he left the pits, but he was only ahead for about a lap. Then we've got Alex and Cyberstrike and Pixtacker and Noki. Meanwhile, up front, yet to use medium compound is Sig Rezo Nico, and he has a commanding lead of about 30 seconds to Mako. Now the fastest lap of the race currently is a 24.5, I think, from Charlie. Yulanga is currently about half a second off, and Samios, who had little fuel and worn tyres, he's on soft tyres. He will go to the mediums for the rest of the race, I'd assume, but it's going to take a while for his car to leave the pits. He will be in 7th place when he rejoins, though, comfortably ahead of Cyberstrike, who's just been lapped by the race leader. Here is Alex Sinclair in his wonderful livery. He's made those tyres last and the fuel last most spectacularly of all. And if he plays the maths right, he won't have to put as much fuel in the car as other drivers, because you don't need to do 100 litres for 15 laps. Sammy's refilled up to about 90 litres. So that will serve him the rest of the way. He's using softs for the remaining part of this race. We've already seen Brothers V use softs for over 20 laps. So 15 laps shouldn't be too much of a problem for the American driver. He's also had some great tyre conservation skills throughout this season, as we see Noki on the grass. Further up front, we've got Yulanga already gapping Bradley and closing in on Charlie as he sets a fantastic lap. It's another below 25 after doing a 25.1 the previous time around. Bradley setting 26s. But all he has to do is stay out on track and he will leapfrog Yulanga and Charlie, and I think will also leapfrog Mako due to the amount of fuel that Mako has to put in the car. Meanwhile, our 6th place driver is now in the pits. He will rejoin in 7th. The driver who was in 7th, Samios, is on fresh softs and will potentially get the 2 bonus points for the fastest lap, but we do have quite a few drivers aiming to get that, with Sig, Charlie, Sammy, as I said. Alex might also have the opportunity. You got Yulanga as well. Alex Sinclair has actually filled up to 100 litres, which is a few more seconds of wasted time than I think was needed. He rejoins just ahead of Cyberstrike and a lap down. So that's actually only 14 laps remaining for Alex due to being a lap down. Maybe 15 if he can unlap himself, but you do not need 100 litres for 15 laps. Mako, he's now in 2nd, and he will want to be as close to Brothers V as possible. Then we've got Yulanga, a bit of a slower lap this time. Brothers V setting consistent 26s, and Brothers V will rejoin ahead of Mako due to the amount of fuel that Mako has to put in his car. Is he going to fill up to 100 litres? If so, then that is wasted time. And he fills up just to 80 litres, so yeah, that's good call by the pit crew. That's 4 seconds saved compared to Alex Sinclair. And we can see that Alex Sinclair here just coming around onto the main straight. Meanwhile, Mako and Sammy. Mako's like quite comfortably ahead of Sammy. Both of which run fresh softs because both drivers used mediums at the start of this race. And that was their compulsory medium stint. Now, things have kind of gapped out a bit in the last few laps. Charlie, Yulanga, Brothers V all separated by about 2 seconds each. As Yulanga misses the apex there, but gets a great run up the hill. Oh, we got a car spun. Oh, it's Sig Rezo Nico, our race leader. So just coming through turn 4, he just gets onto that gap between the AstroTurf and the curb. Hits the wall heavily, lucky for him, no damage. And he continues with his race. That will shrink his lead by about 10 seconds. Although Brothers V, Charlie and Yulanger are all quite a way off. Now Sig does still have to use the medium compound, although he'll probably want to use these softs for as long as he can due to the 1 second faster lap times that you can gain from them, at least until they hit the cliff. Ooh, a bit wide from Yulanger, that might be another time penalty. And his charge towards Charlie Fraser has halted a bit with that 26.8 and high 25. High 25 is still a great lap, but it is not the 25.1 that we saw a few laps ago. Although his front and rear tyres are feeling the burn just a little bit. We'll probably see him into the pits in the next 4 laps. Charlie Fraser on a very similar strategy to Yulanger. They might be close at the end of the race, especially as Charlie will have to add more fuel in his pit stop compared to Yulanger. It's not that much fuel, as he has saved a little bit in this stint, but it might just be a couple more seconds which puts him behind Yulanger when they both make their final pit stop. And Yulanger actually makes a pit stop a bit early, I think. He still had a few more laps he could have done on his softs, but he feels the safest option is to go to the mediums for the rest of this race. Oh, actually, sorry. He started on the medium, sorry, so he can go on to the softs, I think. He has to refuel, he'll probably have to refill up about 40 more litres to about 57. I think that will be a safe strategy. Yeah, he goes to 67 litres, so yeah, that will be enough to the end of the race. In relation to Mako, he rejoins about 8 seconds behind, but in relation to Samios, he's about 5 seconds ahead. So that midfield pack is now spread out with the different strategies, with the medium tyres and the soft tyres and the usage in the race, along with the fuel, which has definitely been the key factor today. We can see that some drivers have lost more time refueling if they've overfueled or underfueled, meaning that they've had 2 more stops. And some drivers have chosen to save fuel and do less stops. For example, Alex and Brothers, both doing a 1-stop race. Charlie will surely pit this lap, and then we'll come out pretty close to Yulander. He'll want to refuel up to about 60 litres, maybe slightly less if he wants to do a little bit of short shifting in the final 10 laps. Currently the gap between him and Sigraz Nico is that 40 seconds, but both of these drivers have to pit. And then Braz V in third is our first driver to be doing a 1-stop strategy. So we've seen 1-stop strategies, 2-stop strategies and 3-stop strategies here at Sao Paulo. Mako on fresh softs is put in some great laps and might close Brothers V by the end of this race. However, he might just be slightly too far back if we can just compare their lap times. Brothers V is setting pretty consistent laps on his mediums, but Mako is over a second a lap faster on softs. Further back, and Pixtech has recently pitted onto soft tyres. He'll be aiming to catch up Cyberstrike and pull away from Noki. Now, where is Cyberstrike on track? Well, Cyberstrike's a lap ahead, so it's going to be some race if Pixtech can get into the top 8, because Cyberstrike's performance here today has been pretty good, especially compared to last time out at Suzuka. So Charlie Fraser, who is in second, has made his pit stop. How much fuel will he put into the car? What tyres will be on? Where will he be with the Irish driver of Yulanger? Well, he exits the pits. He refilled up to 69 litres, maybe for the comedic reasons, but I think he's overfueled. He's got more fuel in the car than Ulanger, and definitely more than needed. Could have taken off at least 15 litres. I think he's just ahead of Ulanger though, so that might still work. But Ulanger is now on fresh softs. Charlie is also on fresh softs, so we got a race to the end between these two. They're pretty much on the same strategy for these in the last 9 laps. Charlie has a slightly heavier car, but slightly fresher tyres. Mr. Mako, meanwhile, is setting very good lap time still, 25.0, just a tenth slower than his previous lap time. Bradesby second slower, but good times for the medium compound. His medium stint has actually been way better than his soft stint, so maybe a mistake for Bradesby to use the softs at the start and the mediums at the end. Maybe lost the potential of those softs by being stuck behind some of the midfield runners. And then in the lead, who has been fantastic on the soft tyres, been very consistent these last 3 laps since his turn 4 spin, is Sig, 25.8, 25.8 and a 25.8 again. However, one thing he doesn't have is the fastest lap, because Charlie has it. Okay, I think there's a slight glitch there. Thought for a minute we had racing between them, but not just yet. But the fastest lap is Charlie Fraser's, 24.5 I think. And that'll be 2 bonus points going to him, and 2 points that Sig cannot get in his fight for the championship as it goes. Ooh, that's a bit wide. That'll be a time penalty, and more specifically, direct time loss from running wide. The time penalty itself doesn't really matter too much because it goes naturally here through turn 6. You can see that just by breaking the time penalty being lost. Yulang has closed up though as Charlie gets a bit squirrely out of the hairpin. Yulang are using a little bit more of the track there coming out of that turn, as now we go through Zhongkao and up the hill from the final turn as well. And Yulang is the closest he has been so far. This is a very quick lap by him. This might challenge Charlie Fraser's fastest lap of the race, as Yulang currently even gets some of the slipstream from Charlie Fraser. Will that aid in getting the fastest lap? He does! 24.4, and those 2 bonus points are now going to Ulanger with the aid of a slight slipstream actually from Charlie. Oh, and now Charlie loses control coming out of turn 2, and Ulanger takes 4th out of turn 2. No real overtake needed due to that mistake, so that was a frustrating lap for him, because not only did he lose the fastest lap and those bonus points, but then he's lost 4th place points and he drops down to 5th. Further back, Samios is also just 5 seconds back in 6th, and Alex a further 5 seconds back on fresh softs. So this battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th is heating up. There's a larger gap to 8th, but Cyberstrike has had a really good race, one of the best races for him this season. Pixtecker in 9th, a lap further behind, and Noki comes into the pits. He might drop sort of about 2.5 laps behind our race leader Sig. However, Noki can use the soft tyres for these last 9 laps, along with a bit of fuel. You can see his Bahamas themed livery. And refills 55 litres, maybe a little bit too much, but he falls further back behind Pixtecker. Now our race leader, just coming through the final turn on softs, hasn't got much fuel, but have got at least 1, maybe 2 more laps with that Rainex sponsored car pulling him along. Bradesby half a lap down in 2nd on medium, still doing 26s. Actually, since his pit stop, all of his lap times have been within about half a second. Mako, slightly poor lap previous time around, losing time to Bradesby. However, his soft tyres stint so far has generally been incredibly good and very consistent. He's about 10 seconds behind Brothers with 6 laps to go. And then Yulang now setting quick lap times and pulling away. Oh, actually, this has been a poor lap from Yulanga. Charlie's close back in. and then Sammy and Alex are unable to gain similar ground. So as these drivers approach lap 37, I think they're almost a lap down to Sigurd and Nico, who's just coming through the final turn now. It's 25.1, Charlie 25.3, so somehow Yulanga pulled out another 2 tenths on Charlie, so great stuff there from Yulanga. I think 4th place could be his now. Yeah, race leader now approaching out 38. He'll pit next lap. Brothers V setting mid 26s with Mako setting 25s. That gap is closing, but I don't think there's enough laps for Mako to make enough ground. The final round is at the Circuit de la Sarthe, commonly known as just Le Mans, due to the 24 hours of Le Mans held there. That will be a very long endurance race, approximately 2 hours. And that'll be a true test of fatigue, endurance and consistency. And after that final round of the season will be Season 7, and Season 7 will feature the Group 1 Porsche 962. Be a one-make series with that car, and will feature races including the Nordschleife, which will be great fun for all of these drivers and potential other drivers for Season 7, starting July. Back in the battle for 4th, we can see that Yulanga is setting very good 25 zeros. Really good pace from the Irish driver, and this is the sort of pace that he showed back at Monza to get that double header. So his 1 lap pace, his pace in clean air here at Interlagos has been exceptional, but it's been Mako who actually has managed to beat him here today, unless something happens in these last 4 laps. Meanwhile, our race leader, he comes out of the pits onto the medium tyres that are compulsory, and he puts just enough fuel in for these remaining 4 laps. He's now about 20 seconds ahead of Brothers V, who just comes up the hill, with Mako still closing him bit by bit. If it was a 44 lap race, I would imagine that Mako could get the second place position, but it's not to be now. Now, with the standings as they are, Sigurd and Nico will get a clear lead into the final round, thanks to the 25 points he looks to get, with Brothers V getting 18. Oh, a bit wide from Yulanga. Charlie actually got a much better run through that turn, and has been setting very good soft tyre lap just last time around at 24.9, so he's pushing hard now. However, both of these drivers, actually I think Yulanga's got about the same amount of fuel, but about the correct amount of fuel, but Charlie's got a bit more fuel, and I think that is unnecessary fuel, so that's unnecessary weight and unnecessary time loss in the pit stop last time around about 9 laps ago. Then we've got Sammy in 6th. He's fallen further back due to the exceptional pace of Yulanga and Charlie, and it's Samios now under attack from Alex Sinclair, whose soft tyre stint has been pretty similar to Charlie and Yulanga. He's been setting 25s. However, yet again, I'd say his fuel is too high. He lost about 5 seconds more than he needed to in his last pit stop, and otherwise he would have already cleared the American driver. Alex wider on the entry, hits the apex, so it's a good run from Alex Sinclair, but Sammy used more of the track on the exit, so might stay ahead into turn 1. Let's go on board now. Not Nissan GTR versus Nissan GTR. Alex has been pushing these softs quite a lot over these last 14 laps since his pit stop. A bit wide through turn 1, and that slowed him up through turn 2. That is not the ideal line. We've seen a range of different lines regarding taking how more speed in turn 1 or less speed in turn 1, and how that affects the run all the way to turn 4. It's why I think this track is such, it's just so good for racing. Now if we just go further up front, you can see Sigras Nico approaching lap 41. He's setting really good laps on mediums. Bradesby still doing 26s, and Mako about a second ahead with 25s and 26.1, 4 seconds back from Bradesby. Eulanger in 4th, just ahead of Charlie Fraser, but in 8th place, Cyberstrike has pitted because he wants to use medium compound, but Samios has made a mistake. He was ahead of Alex Sinclair, but just coming out of this second gear turn, he's got onto the grass, and while rejoining got loose, and Alex Sinclair moves into 6th place, but is too far back from Charlie and Eulanger to make any further ground, I think. And if we just switch to them, we can see that Charlie's really looking aggressive as Eulanger's lap times fall. You can see that's half a second gained on the previous lap, and I think it's another half second gain this time. Eulanger defends, probably quite unnecessary there, but doesn't matter too much as he goes towards the outside on entry. Eulanger run wide, that's a poor run through turn 1. Charlie gets a much better run through turn 2, as you can see. It's not good enough though to be able to make a move in turn 4, as Eulanger's indicator has been flashing for a few turns now. Oh, Eulanger's run wide. Charlie, this could be the move for 4th, but Eulanger holds on, but we'll have to serve a penalty, I think, as we go. No penalty needed to be served. Could we see a dive bomb here? No, but Eulanger defends heavily anyway. We're just going to quickly pop towards our race leader to see how Sigras Nico is getting on. He's on his final lap of the race, still setting good lap times on mediums. Bradesby on worn mediums. Both of those really don't have much fuel, as does Mako on softs. Still got a few seconds to gain. Eulanger now coming up the hill, not much fuel. We can see that Charlie has about 20% of fuel, so that's 20% of fuel too much, well, almost. Oh, he's run wide through turn 1. That's time lost. Not a good run through turn 2, therefore, and that might have ruined any chance. It was a poor lap load last time around. Lost some time in the final sector. And just go towards our race leader. He's coming soon to finish this 42 lap race at Interlagos. It's been a fantastic win from Sigras Nico. And he commands the championship with a increased gap now to Bradesby into the final round at Circuit de la Sarthe. He flashes his lights as he comes home to take a win. He won the last endurance race at Brands Hatch. He wins this one as well. Congratulations to him. If we just go to this battle for 4th, we can see that Charlie not close enough. Eulanger setting some good lap times. Alex Sinclair's gapped Sammy. Bradesby's just across the line in 2nd place. Maybe not the best strategy possible with wasting the soft tyres. But he comes home in 2nd. The championship will go down to the final round of the season. Mako not close enough to Brothers at the end, but still a superb performance to gap Eulanger there in that second half of the race. 4th, superb defence of Charlie Fraser, and he put the pressure on to get into that 4th place originally. Charlie might be disappointed with 5th, and then we've got Alex Sinclair coming home in 6th place after the mistake at lap 1. Sammy in 7th, Cyberstrike a lap down in 8th place, but still a great performance. Pixtecker, I think 2 laps down. Pixtecker a lap down in 9th place. But it's been a great final stint there from the Mexican. And Noki 2 laps down, rounding out the field. We hope you've enjoyed this race at Interlagos. We'll see you at Le Mans.